Ate Asasumba.
The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Kido Jr. This is TV1 News.
And I'm Mary Silla Calaton. Join me later in the bulletin for your news in sport.
In this edition, PM commends superpowers on clean green energy, Galip agreement signed with FBDA, and ITOM looks to finalize 30-man squad. The PNG Constitutional Law and Reform Commission recently launched its Gender Equity, Disability and Social Inclusion Policy. With the launch of this policy, the CLRC has committed to respecting and promoting the human rights of all people, including and representing in their work people who are vulnerable and embedding these commitments in their work through an intersectional approach. CLRC Secretary Dr. Mange Matui states that having this policy in place will enhance the understanding of GETSI concept and what it entails, particularly when it comes to implementing the ideals of the policy. Whilst Chairman Saki Solomon remarked that it is his wish the policy will enhance the understanding and significantly shape the attitudes and behaviors of the staff of CLRC in line with intentions of the policy. The government of Papua New Guinea conducted a one-day roadshow in Kimbe on November 16th to promote the National Sustainable Land Use Policy. The policy focuses on efficient land management for sustainable development. Despite challenges, the government is actively driving the policy development, aiming for cross-government dialogues on national development priorities. Pending approval, it will guide legislation for land use planning with consultations at subnational and sector levels. The roadshow is part of an awareness program preceding the policy's implementation in provinces next year, following its parliamentary approval in August.
Roadshow is basically to come down to the province now for the implementation aspect part of the Sustainable Land Use Policy. The Sustainable Land Use Policy was approved in 2022 last year, and I think the launching for the plan was done in August of this year. Now, after we have this workshop for the roadshow, we will be coming back next year to ensure that we help both provinces, East and West New Britain, to come up with a land use plan for the province.
ICTSI South Pacific Terminals, SPICT and Motuka International Terminal achieved a historic milestone by hosting the largest international container vessel, Kota Gabung, in Papua New Guinea. Operated by Mariana Express Line Limited, the gearless ship made inaugural calls on November 12th at SPICT and November 17th at MIT. This feat is part of the North Asia Express Service, a vessel sharing agreement connecting major Chinese ports to PNG and Northern Australia. The event reflects growing confidence in ICTSI's terminals, with SPICT now equipped with groundbreaking post-Panamax ship-to-shore cranes. MIT has doubled its waterside capability, ensuring safer and faster ship turnarounds. CEO Robert Maxwell anticipates further success with gearless vessels in the PNG trade. Minister for Education and member for Usino-Bundi, Jimmy Ugoro, is continuing his roofing iron program named Sinisim Morata for individual families in all wards in his electorate. The program has reached families in wards 17, 30 and 32. They received another batch of the roofing irons over the weekend, a timely gesture to welcome the festive season.
The Sinisim Morata initiative started in 2017 when Minister for Education and member for Usino-Bundi, Jimmy Ugoro, took political office. He vowed to ensure the delivery of 24 sheets of 12-foot roofing iron to each household in the district. Each ward council in Usino, Bundi and Gama is coordinating the issuing of roofing irons. This 600,000 project was rolled out throughout this year. Mr. Uguro assured his people that every family will have a decent home to live in. He also warned the council members not to charge households under this program and advised the public to report any official doing that. Mr. Uguro has also presented 2 new vehicles to assist the SME financial literacy training and cocoa project development respectively. The local MP was in his home district to attend to these and also be part of the groundbreaking ceremony for the new self-contained police accommodation to be built at Usino and Walium government stations. Susan Oreape, TVWAN News.
Prime Minister James Marape has applauded the United States of America and China on their stand on climate change mitigation made at the APEC Leaders Summit in San Francisco recently. Marape commended President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping for their firm commitment to migrate from heavy fossil fuel to clean green energy and net zero emissions by 2050.
Prime Minister James Marape has commended 2 superpower economies, the United States and China, for their firm commitment to migrate from heavy fossil fuel to clean green energy and net zero emissions by 2050. Marape said this is a big commitment, especially for their countries which depend heavily on the use of fossil fuels. Both the US and China are big carbon emitters with huge environmental footprints. For them to commit to aggressively shift away from fossil fuel use and extraction is highly commendable. The Prime Minister once more called for access to fair trade among all economies of APEC as a means to combating poverty and the unsustainable use of resources. He said if it wasn't for industrialization, which has unfortunately become the cause of pollution in the last 100 years and ultimately become the main issue we now face in climate change, poverty would have forced the unsustainable plunder of its resources. He said this is why it is imperative that APEC must ensure that all member countries prosper through fair trade. In the area of forest conservation in relation to climate change, PM Marape continued to market PNG as a forest nation, as he did to APEC leaders and at some of his side meetings. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
This is TVWAN News. Stay tuned for more when we return.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Wanna know to win a Scale Rice Matchy Pack? Scale Rice is giving away hundreds of really scale prizes for that Scale weekend. Prizes include over 200 Scale Rice Nambi set, over 190 Scale Rice Eskies, 44 JBL speakers with 2 wireless mics. To enter, buy any Scale Rice or Ori Rice product, write your name and contact details at the back of the receipt, drop in the entry box. There's 116 winners fortnightly, 16 promo locations and 4 fortnightly draws. Try us all.
More details in store or follow us on our social pages. Terms and conditions apply.
Papua New Guinea. We love a reason for a family gathering. A reason to play. A reason to ignite the flame. A reason to cook the best with the best. Flame Oil, now PNG made for PNG cooking. Flame Oil, winning taste.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo and milk taste and added nutrients, Milo and milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Fine PNG made.
Quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier by you like you more.
For sportsmen and women, the internet can be a dangerous place. Filled with crackpots, show-offs, pranksters, and troublemakers.
It's time to go viral, America. You going?
So we compiled the greatest clips from the great outdoors and called it Viral Outdoors.
Leopards, bison, cheetahs, and more.
Ideally, all of these animals roaming freely would paint a beautiful picture. However, human progress won't allow that. The next best thing is to give them value.
Join Dan Cabela as he sets out on an international journey of discovery within the world of conservation.
There is no one-size-fits-all solution, and science is the best hope to find answers for their survival.
Hard Truths of Conservation, streaming now on Outdoor.
Hello, WWE Universe. This is WWE superstar Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades. I'm here to set it all on fire. Watch WWE on Digicel TV.
Welcome back. Curriculum materials under the government's tuition fee-free education policy was distributed to schools in Eastern Highlands Province and the rest of the Highlands region. A component of the TFF subsidy was paid to Protocol Logistic Investment Limited to deliver the curriculum materials to parts of the Highlands region. These images and videos show curriculum materials being distributed to Wharapi Primary School in Eastern Highlands. Protocol Logistic Investment Limited has successfully covered all 6 districts of Simbu Province and 8 districts of Eastern Highlands. Materials were distributed to the 14 districts in the last 2 months. Eastern Highlands Education Advisor Wesley Albert thanked the distributor for delivering the materials on time. The Fresh Produce Development Agency under the Market for Village Farmers has signed a funding agreement with Frangipani Foods Limited of Rabaul and Saujana Integrated and Sustainable Agricultural Livelihood of Madang to financially support them with the Galip nut project. The agreement was signed this afternoon in Port Moresby between FPDA Chief Executive Officer Mark Warinu and Dr. John Moxon of Frangipani and Dr. Sim Sa of Sisal.
Cash produced for the lowland people of PNG. Chief Executive Officer for the Fresh Produce Development Agency, Mark Warinu, made these remarks when officiating at the signing of the financial agreement with the 2 lead Galip nut farmers from East New Britain and Madang. Mr. Warinu said all people can be farmers, but it takes a strong man or woman to really work the land and produce the quality produce. He said Frangipani Foods Limited and Saujana Integrated and Sustainable Agricultural Livelihood, or SIAL, were selected based on their production of Galip nut in their respective provinces.
It's a testament of people who basically see value in this particular emerging industry and put all in their time and effort and the resources doing it all by themselves. The project is basically a government project. One of the components is basically to support the winners and the champions. 95% of our Papua New Guineans are farmers. All right, but in this kind of arrangement, we only identify those people who are able to have the capacity to look at the production aspects, establishing a reliable production system, and also connect with the markets and come up with products.
Managing Director of Frangipani Foods Limited, Dr. John Moxon, says Galip has been researched by the National Agriculture Research Institute for a very long time until he came up with an idea to set up a company to produce Galip nut and sell it domestically and globally. Dr. Moxon started this company in 2021 and now has more than 2,000 households in East New Britain benefiting from the project.
Worked out the best varieties and safe and good ways to process it. But then no one was stepping up to market the product. And so we'd gone along this long journey and still it wasn't reaching the retail shelves domestically or export-wise. And our vision in the beginning was to create a new export industry for Papua New Guinea, but also to provide an extra income for rural households.
The Frangipani Galip nut last October won first prize in the CL Innovation Food Exhibition in Paris out of 7,000 contestants. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Caving marks a historic milestone with the commencement of its first modern city mall construction in February 2024. A joint venture between NIDC and Modern New Guinea Real Estate, the groundbreaking ceremony featured key dignitaries emphasizing the project's economic significance. Representing the new island government, Min Kyong highlighted the visionary leadership of Governor Sir Julius Chan. NIDC Chairman Chris Takap anticipates increased competition among retail businesses, while the innovative design of the two-story mall aims to transform Caving's business district. Despite COVID-19 related delays, developer Roger Lin assures a 2-year completion timeline once materials are on site. Prime Minister James Marape returned to Papua New Guinea today after attending the Pacific Games opening ceremony in Honiara, Solomon Islands. In a press conference, he highlighted the successful hosting of the event and discussed crucial bilateral meetings held during his visit. Prime Minister Marape returned to the country today and spoke of his bilateral discussions in Solomon Islands and of the grand opening procession of the Pacific Games. Marape revealed that before his departure, he engaged in significant bilateral discussions with the President of Palau and Solomon Islands Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare. These discussions focused on reinforcing mutual support and cooperation between the nations. Solomon Islands, hosting the Pacific Games for the first time, showcased a remarkable opening ceremony with enthusiasm and flair. Marape commended the host country, emphasizing the shared interest between Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands as neighboring Melanesian nations. In his statement, Marape underscored the importance of sports as a unifying force, bringing together diverse nations in the Pacific region. He expressed the need for solidarity among Pacific nations, including Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, and other island nations, especially in the face of global challenges. The Prime Minister reported agreements reached during the bilateral meetings, including ongoing support for Solomon Islands in various capacities, such as financial aid, technology, and immigration assistance. He highlighted Papua New Guinea's contribution to the Pacific Games, including a financial investment of close to 40 million kina, primarily used to enhance sports facilities.
My presence there was noted, but more importantly, our bilateral this morning. Agreed on certain things. Our continued support to them, not just necessarily in cash, but our support in capacities, our support in technology, in whatever we may have. For instance, this Pacific Games that is happening the immigrants were able to use our help and the systems we have to ensure ease of people access in for the games that is on air right now.
Additionally, Marape disclosed the presence of a contingent of 100 Papua New Guinean police officers currently operating in Solomon Islands, working under the command structure of the Solomon Islands Police Commissioner.
Our support in terms of other capacity areas are finding its place in Solomon Islands, and they do appreciate our support. We also have a contingent of over 100 policemen presently still operating in Solomon Islands, now working side by side with reporting under the command structure of the Solomon Islands Police Commissioner.
And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2685 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2610 $0.3981 Australian dollars, $0.2316 euro, and 38.74 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, cocoa, crude oil, and copper closed higher. The rest closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, ASX closed higher, and all ordinaries closed higher as well. You're watching TV1 News. We'll have news from around the region after the break. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magical cuddle, get up a big smile on face. Time for Kim chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
Hey, you want to talk? Want to win one of 4 Costa buses? Simply collect 6 SP Lager Red promo caps and enter the draw at a participating store near you. There are heaps of other great prizes to win too, like SP Hunters jerseys and other awesome SP Lager gifts. So enter the draw today for a chance to win. There's a bus to be won in Islands, Southern, Momase, and the New Guinea Islands. SP Lager, bungi mumi!
Hi, with the help of Palmolive Naturals shampoo and conditioner, with these 3 quick and easy tips, I'm going to show you that more natural, beautiful hair is achievable. Step 1, massage your scalp during washing with shampoo. Step 2, apply conditioner to the tips of your hair. Step 3, gently towel dry your hair. There you have it. For natural, beautiful hair, use Palmolive Naturals shampoo and conditioner. Have a great hair day.
Number One Super wants our members to have the happiest retirement possible. Just an extra 10 kina a week could mean an extra 50,000 kina when you retire. This is known as a voluntary contribution. So call us to find out how to add a little extra to your super payments now to boost your super savings later.
Come on out and join the party, baby! Taking out Logan Paul. Samoa dropped by Nia Jax.
Hi, I'm Darren Robertson, an expat pom, chef and part owner of the 3 Blue Ducks in the Sydney beachside suburb of Bronte. A few years ago, I started thinking about making a shift towards more sustainable cooking, but I've become fascinated with cooking over simple fire or hot coals. I just want to see how far I can push that theory and what these simple elements can help me create.
So welcome to my charcoal kitchen. Let's light the fires, stoke the coals and get cooking.
Welcome back. The partnership between the European Union and its 27 member states and the 79 member states of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States was solidified with the signing of the Samoa Agreement in Apia, Samoa on 15th November. The historic signing ceremony, a first to be held in the Pacific, was attended by more than 250 delegates from across the 4 continents. The EU and the African, Caribbean and Pacific states represent over 1.5 billion people and more than half of the seats at the United Nations. The Samoa Agreement prioritizes human rights, democracy and good governance, including gender equality and the rule of law. Social development and sustainable economic growth are and continue to be priorities. A year after Pakistan's worst floods on record, almost half of all children in the country are facing stunted growth or malnutrition. Last summer's flooding killed at least 1,700 people, destroyed millions of homes, and wiped out swaths of farmland. Months on, many families are still struggling to access food and health care.
At this hospital in Lahore, beds are filling up with kids who haven't had enough to eat. 3-year-old Sulman Ali should weigh at least 11 kilos.
He's very weak, weighing less than 1 kilogram. Because of heavy rains, crops of rice were destroyed. We don't have food to eat.
Last year, Pakistan faced one of the worst floods in history, affecting 33 million people. They were induced by climate change, and at its peak, a third of the country was underwater. The resulting long-term food insecurity means 44% of Pakistani kids are now malnourished.
Speaking to the doctors here at the Lahore Hospital, they're telling us that the most crucial time for a child is those first 1,000 days of life, and that's what determines whether a kid is going to be stunted in their growth and face the malnutrition that we're seeing across the hospital here.
The water may have receded, but diseases like malaria and typhoid are rife, and a year on, many schools and health services still haven't reopened.
I need help with food and kids' education, because it's very expensive and fees are high. And proper food is very expensive, which kids do not get.
This is something which is very disturbing and alarming. These are the problems that were not present earlier on. And now these are the problems which are actually, I would say, these are man-made problems.
Pakistan emits less than 1% of global greenhouse gases, but it's one of the most vulnerable regions in the world.
Young people are joining church elders at this week's 12th General Assembly of the Pacific Conference of Churches in New Caledonia. This week's PCC Assembly includes delegates from 12 national councils of churches and 35 churches. Young people are represented from host nation Kanaki, New Caledonia, as well as Kiribati, Marshall Islands, Maui, Nui, French Polynesia, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Fiji, Cook Islands, American Samoa, Tonga, Aotearoa, New Zealand and Australia. For many young people, it's their first time at a PCC assembly, but they're eager to build bridges across language and distance. Despite diverse roots, they share common concerns around the importance of land, culture, spirituality and the environment. Water fluoridation has been hailed as one of the 10 great public health achievements of the 20th century. But more than a quarter of Queenslanders have no access to fluoridated water after decision-making on the divisive topic was handed to local councils a decade ago. Dentists and doctors say it's a public health failure and the Palazuk government should mandate fluoride treatment.
It is frustrating we're still fighting the fight in Queensland, but it's time to get it top of the agenda.
So why is it controversial? Some anti-fluoride campaigners have civil rights objections. Others say it lowers the IQ of children, a claim debunked by scientists.
We're talking about 1 part per million in a water supply. It's just not capable of causing the negative effects that people are concerned about, but we can absolutely see the health benefit of it.
In 2007, Labor Premier Anna Bligh mandated fluoride statewide.
Our kids have the worst teeth in the country, and we need to stop that.
But her successor, Campbell Newman, scrapped the directive, leaving the decision to councils. 2/3 have since axed or avoided fluoridation.
The cost would be prohibitive, not only to instigate it and implement it, but the ongoing costs.
Council's been dealing with the lobby group around the anti-vaxxers, and time-wise, this would be a terrible time to try and force fluoride.
51 local governments do not fluoridate their water, including the major centres of Bundaberg, Rockhampton, Mackay and Cairns, as well as the state's Aboriginal councils. Southeast Queensland residents do have fluoridated water. It's people living in areas of comparative social disadvantage who don't, further deepening the health divide. Hervey Bay GP Nick Yim says patients are suffering with decaying teeth.
We would like to see the Queensland Government immediately return and mandate fluoridation in our water supplies.
The Health Minister says while the government understands the importance of water fluoridation, it's committed to local decision-making.
The Queensland Government has doubled the first homeowners grant to $30,000, but the state's peak social welfare body says there are more effective ways to deal with the housing affordability crisis.
This comes into effect today, this doubling of the first homeowners grant in Queensland. So it goes from $15,000 to $30,000, but it has to be for a new build and for a property that is under $750,000. This will be in place at this stage until mid-2025. But the Council for Social Service in Queensland says that this is really just putting a band-aid onto a much larger problem, and it will not do anything to solve the housing crisis that we are seeing across Queensland. It says a third of Queenslanders will never own a home. So more needs to be done to help renters, to help those people that are currently living in tents and living in their cars and hotels right across Queensland. So it wants to see really more to be done, and that would be to put a freeze on rents, on rental increases. That wants to see that happen. Also, a lot more social service housing built out in the community, and also wants to see some of those frontline services that receive much more support than we currently see. But we see it all across the city of Brisbane and right across the state, really right across the country at the moment, don't we? A lot of homeless people sleeping in tents and sleeping in their cars right across the country.
Back home, Dr. Mio Komalong from Keng Village on Karkar Island, Madang Province, has been appointed as chairman of the recently revived Madang Development Corporation, a business arm of the Madang provincial government. He signed official documents recently. It was witnessed by MDC board members.
Dr. Mio Komalong, an experienced academic, has been appointed as the chairman of the Madang Development Corporation. His appointment was a recommendation that Madang Governor Ramsey Pariwa supported. Pariwa, who is shareholder and trustee, relinquished his position to an independent person to ensure the MDC is free from political interference. Francis Tavatuna, Special Project Officer with the Governor's Office, said a PEC decision came out on October 17, confirming Dr. Komalong's appointment.
Dr. Mio Komalong has been appointed director for MDC, and also he's the new chairman of the board. So, PEC decision came out on the 17th of October. So, his appointment is effective as of 17th, and he will be signing his form 15 and 16 to be a director. And assistant director will formalize your
Dr. Komolong signed the Investment Promotion Authority documents, including Forms 15 and 16, to seal his directorship in the MDC board. This signing was witnessed by board members. Dr. Komolong was a consultant to the Agricultural Innovation Systems and Institutional Capacity Building for the government before his MDC appointment.
The line of campus you mean? When something was making for they ran down Madang Development Corporation, but there's some good ones you may bring in also. It's a mixed field you may go inside, you know, you may it, some by field you may low, one you may, but as long as we keep clean. So you will not come to Baramim, come to Stratim, or must Tanim Bell, something of the finish, but Tanim Bell, Stratim. You ready enough before you die, Stratim pass.
Former Madang Governor James Yali also witnessed Dr. Komolong's signing. He urged the MDC board to look at recouping assets, including land it owns. Mr. Yali also urged the MDC board to look at land especially occupied by illegal squatters and drive the eviction exercise. Dr. Komolong stated that he would like the MDC board to regroup and rectify damages done to the company as they move forward. Susan Oreape, TVWAN News.
And that's all for news. Over to you, Maricela.
Thank you, Carol. After the break, we'll have updates on Hunter's selection and some cricket news. Stay tuned.
Start your day by doing the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate. Wake up. Brush your teeth. And smile. Smile throughout your day with Colgate.
Strong like you, smart like me. I hope they don't break. Now surely Loki's son. This is Relaxo. Strong plus thread. Should I try them on you? No, please. I'll take them. Relaxo. Very strong, lasts long.
This Christmas, Digicel is making wishes come true with mega prizes and loads more cash. 3 grand cash prizes of 100,000, 50,000, or 30,000 kina. That's right, you can win 100,000 kina cash. Plus, there's also more amazing weekly prizes to win. Samsung Galaxy S22 smartphones, 5,000 kina in cash, water tanks, gem sets, and entertainment packs with Samsung TV, smartphone, playbox, and 1-year free TV and mobile plan. So what are you waiting for? Just pop up 5 kina or more, or buy any phone for your chance to win and make your wishes come true this Christmas. Only with Digicel.
On the ground, the Fijian. Kebano, oh, Butterfingers there out of the hands of Dante. You've got to be careful. He's up. Ramos in the corner.
It takes a lot to be a rodeo kid.
Some people let nerves get to them, some people don't.
She don't take losing very well.
It does make a mama nervous.
It's gonna happen. You just don't know when or how bad it's gonna be.
It's good in the rodeo industry to have a very short memory.
Kid Rodeo. Streaming now on Outdoor.
I have a story. This family just lost their daughter to an opiate overdose. But her brother says it was a murder. Who do you think did it?
We want to track her, kill her down, and avenge her death.
As a personal boundary, I don't avenge deaths.
You're a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Well, you know, 90% of the time it's a boyfriend who did it.
I wasn't really her boyfriend. Starting to sound a little inconsistent.
Vengeance.
Thanks for staying with us. In support of sports, the Kikori District Development Authority has presented rugby uniforms to the Orokolo-Popo Rugby League Association and Hobo Rugby League. 9 sets of uniforms were presented to Orokolo and the same for Hobo in Ihu LLG. The teams were also given rugby balls, whistles, loud hailers, and stopwatches. Sporting gear for teams in the Kikori Rugby League competition has been a challenge, despite the association running the competition for many years. Rugby League has a bigger following in the district. The district authority hopes Orokolo can get under the Kikori Rugby League banner because it is recognized by the PNG RFL. KDDA and ISEZ will also be presenting 15 other rugby league teams with uniforms. A spirited Kimber Pirates outfit of West New Britain put on masterclass performance to stop arch-rivals Loyal East West, formerly Page Park Cowboys of Rabaul, 10-0 to claim the 2023 Bilas Pelas Sevens Cup and the major cash prize of 20,000 kina. The 4-day tournament, staged at Konos Central New Island, attracted 28 teams. The tournament was played under the theme Promoting Tourism Through Sports.
Kimber Pirates captain and Rabaul Gurius winger Dominic Annis revealed that after their 10-0 Cup Grand Final they were prepared for this tournament and expected a good challenge from a local select side Bilas Pelas teams, as well former champion Kala Reds from Kokopo. Annie said, as it turned out, they met up with Loyal East West in the Cup Grand Final, whom they have played together before and are too familiar with each other's style of rugby. The Pirates captain acknowledged the fight from local teams from New Island. Annie said the hospitality was welcoming. He recommended to the management of New Island Rugby that in future it must stick to scheduled dates for the sake of outside teams participating. Pirates are on a roll, continuing their winning spirit. They head to the Civic Nines Challenge next week, followed by a Rookie Sevens in Port Moresby at the end of the year. Meanwhile, New Island Rugby Union President Charlie Melancon said the 4-day tournament brought in very well experienced players, including those from the semi-professional Digicel ExxonMobil Cup, as well as grand final winners, 2 former Pukpuks. Melancon noted that province has hosted the biggest invitational rugby sevens to date in Papua New Guinea. Rex Litter, TV1 Sports.
Ohola Flyers added yet another silverware to their trophy cabinet after overcoming a strong challenge from minor premiers and favourites Bigger Petroleum Gulf West. Flyers crept home 18-14 just minutes before full-time to take out their 4th Port Moresby Rugby League Grand Final title. The intriguing physical encounter was delivered in front of a packed Lloyd Robson stand at the Santos National Football Stadium. It was double scoop for Ohola Flyers, who also claimed the under-20 title after beating Tarangao 15-14 in Golden Point. In the women's grand final, Paga Panthers proved too strong for Royals with a 10-4 win after a tight contest. The 2023 PRL season marks 74 years of uninterrupted rugby league action. PRL Chairman Dr. James Naipau and PRL executives thank all board members and the 12 affiliate clubs for continued support, understanding, and their perseverance through challenges this year, which ended in success over the weekend. SP PNG Hunters head coach Paul Aiton has lauded predecessors Stanley Tappend and Matthew Church. Aiton said while working under Tappend and Church, he has learned a lot and is ready to deliver in his tenure. However, there's some areas he needs to get right, one of which is to pick the final 30-man squad at the conclusion of pre-season training and stick with it throughout the season.
SPPNG Hunters coach Paul Aiton has the odious task of selecting his final 30 for QRL Host Plus Cup season 2024. Nonetheless, Coach Aiton is grateful to his predecessors Stanley Tappend and Matthew Church and is set on delivering during his tenure.
They'll train with us all week, and then for their captain's run they'll go to their local teams to play. But know that they're the next one up. So they won't just pick from Digicel Cup. There'll be an understudy ready.
PNG Hunter CEO Scott Barker expressed similar sentiments.
Digicel ExxonMobil franchises and the franchise managers about how we're going to manage that process, for the course of the season, so that it's fair and equitable, and what you just described won't happen. It'll be, they've come from the squad, they've been part of the system, but when they go back, everyone understands what the expectation and what's expected of the Digicel ExxonMobil club and what's expected of the Hunters.
The PNG Hunters are in pre-season training camp after naming their pre-season squad on November 16. The team will be trimmed down to 30 at the conclusion of the pre-season training. Rex Litter, TVWAN Sports.
The Pacific Games has kicked off with a ray of colors as Pacific nations unite for one of the most significant events of Oceania's sporting calendar. Around 10,000 people packed the National Stadium to capacity in Honiara on Sunday night to formally open the 17th Pacific Games.
The 17th Pacific Games, with the theme Challenge, Celebrate and Unite gathered nations from around the region who united to celebrate and enjoy not only the spirit of the competition, but also the diversity of culture. As the dancers dressed in colorful costumes moved gracefully, their unison set the stage for a night that would be remembered many years down the line. The beating of the drums echoed throughout the stadium and filled the air with anticipation, excitement and expectation. The previous host of the Pacific Games in 2019, Samoa led the parade of athletes as spectators held up pictures of the flags of the countries as their teams entered. The Papua New Guinea team received a big applause from the crowd as they walked through with the largest contingent of over 500 athletes. The Seoul 2023 Pacific Games promises not only intense competition amongst athletes, but also a celebration of shared history, culture and aspirations of the Pacific nations. The stage is now set for the 2 weeks of thrilling sportsmanship as athletes compete for glory. Rex Litter, TVWAN Sports.
Australia shocked India when it won its 6th Cricket World Cup title by 6 wickets in front of 125,000 spectators at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, India last night. This victory proves Australia is a best in the world. Australia last defeated India in Cricket World Cup in 2003. Exactly 20 years later, history repeats.
Australia won by 6 wickets in the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. Its last World Cup win against India was 20 years ago in 2003. A stunned India side was undefeated throughout the tournament. At the finals, they were bowled out for 240 on the final ball of the inning. Australia's Travis Head started on his way to a match winning 137 runs after Australia was reduced to a 3 for 47 in front of India's home crowd. Head, with support from Manus Labuschagne, steadied the ship to lead Australia to victory despite falling with just 2 runs required. Head became the 3rd Australian to make a century in a men's World Cup final, joining Ricky Ponting in 2003 and Adam Gilchrist in 2007. Everything went right for the Aussies. From the first over, India struggled to contain the high-flying Aussies who wanted the cup title more. While Australia put their best performance to deserve the victory, India was in best form heading into this contest. Despite running onto the pitch for the final with a perfect record, 9 wins out from 9 matches, they reserved the worst performance for the last game. This is Australia's 6th World Cup victory. Rex Litter, TVWAN Sports.
We apologize, we're unable to bring you the weather report. Back to you, Carol.
Thank you, Mary. Well, that brings us to the end of tonight's edition of TV1 News. Thank you for your company. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.